Tell us why you love and how he did Gabby wrong.
True. I mean, did Gabby wrong. Do you like women's sports? Sports across the gender spectrum? How about you're sick of men's sports? Well, that's what we're here to talk about.
On this show, we work to level the sports coverage across the gender spectrum.
Welcome to Balanced Sports.
I'm Hunter.
I'm Jewelz.
Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Balanced Sports. I'm Jewelz.
I'm Hunter.
Let's start with the Mercury.
In the revolving door of Mercury Entertainment, Skylar Jenkins-Smith right now is not with the team for family issues. At least that's what they said.
Rumor has it she won't be returning to the Mercury.
Rumor has it those personal issues are within the organization. No, we don't have any more information with that. We've just heard the same as you all probably have. Twitter rumors that Skylar Jenkins-Smith is not with the team. Period. Now, if I had a hot take that is based off nothing but speculation, Skylar Jenkins-Smith saw that Diana Taurasi was out for the rest of the season, and she said, "Y'all, I'm tired. I'm so tired. I've had y'all on my back. I've been carrying Sophie. I've been carrying Shay. I've been carrying Brianna Turner, and I'm gonna. It doesn't seem like even if we made the playoffs, we got a chance. I'm gonna start my off season early."
I find it very hard to believe that someone who is as competitive as Skylar Jenkins-Smith would just phone it in.
Like 8 people have done that for Phoenix this year.
But that's not... But that's not her. That's not who I believe her to be. And yeah, I don't know her from, Sally Joe, but like...
In
yeah.
what way? Do you remember her kind of forcing her way out of other organizations?
No, it's not that. It's more of like she has a very competitive spirit and seems to really love her job and entertaining people, and it just seems like it just seems really surprising that she would be like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this.
That's true. The other side of this, while we're over here talking mad noise, is that she's having real family issues. We don't know this, so Skylar, heart goes out to you, sweetie. Absolutely. Whatever it may be. I don't know.
Hope that the family issues are resolved in a appropriate amount of time that it takes you and your family to do that. Also wanted to shout out, really sad about DT, like sustaining an injury. What did they say?
Their press release was like, Diana Taurasi will miss the season with a quad strain. Everyone's like, the season? They said, just kidding, we redact that. She'll miss the regular season, but if we make the playoffs, she can come back. So yeah, very, very sad that she has that injury. To be honest, I feel like good for her for making this long in the season without having a long injury. Absolutely. She has been injury prone. She's older. Me just hopes that she can have a healthy season
next year
if she want to come back.
You are not going to sit up here and say you think DT is just going to walk off into the sunset without letting.
I think she'll do the fanfare like
Sue,
will. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
okay.
Hopefully she can be healthy. There would be the beauty of enjoying a last season like we have for Sylvia and Sue and Brie in January.
Nice.
If there's anyone else that retired, sorry we missed you. Derica Hamby also is going to be out for, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
With the injury for the Aces. This is tough. We've talked about this all season. They just don't have a deep bench, and so they haven't been able to rotate these players. And it's never a good time to get an injury. It's never ideal to have a starter injured to start the playoffs, and their roster's thin.
Yeah. When I initially saw that, I was like, they're not fucked, but this isn't good. Like, this is a huge setback right before the playoffs. She's a very important piece to their success. Like, it feels like it's falling apart a little bit.
Yep, she's a huge piece of their success. I feel like she helps defensively, but she also just feels like that glue player that can come in and fill a lot of different roles. Yeah. And who love Kia Stokes, but they play totally different roles. Kia Stokes is like your post center. She's going to be down in the paint. Derica Hamby was all over the place. Maybe we want the Aces now in the playoffs.
No, I still say no. A speedy recovery for Derica Hamby. Shall we get into the main event of today's episode, the WNBA official awards selection? So we're playing media, and we're going to vote Rookie of the Year, All Defensive Team, Second Team, MVP,
Coach of the Year, Defensive
Coach
Player
of
of
the
the Year,
Year.
Most Improved.
All those such as and like.
And we've been playing media all season, so why would we stop now? Which one of these would you like to start at the top?
The all-rookie team, or do you want to start with Rookie of the Year?
Ooh, this is so fun. I'd think all rookie team.
Okay.
Oh, I love this. You know what? Looking back, we covered the draft. It's been fun to see these players play and develop over the season. Wish this is just the case with rookies. They don't have the same kind of opportunities as everyone else. So I feel like you get really excited at the beginning, and then unfortunately my excitement was dampened because they just had to work their way into the rotations.
Yeah.
But I've loved what I've seen. My first selection on my all rookie team, Ryan Howard.
Beautiful selection. Can't argue with that. She is also on my list as the number one person. I guess this actually isn't in order, but yeah, I'm gonna select her first.
Okay.
Incredibly impressive season. So yeah.
Ryan Howard has averaged 16 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1.6 steal, and 0.8 blocks, but she averages 2.4 threes a game. That was really impressive one to me. I saw a stat that says essentially there haven't been a ton of rookies that have had the overall impact that she has, not just points and not just rebounds, steals. I've seen people list her on their defensive teams.
She could make a case.
She's just incredible.
Yeah, all around great athlete, great player. I'm excited to watch her continue and really take over this league. I feel like she is a future face. 3-4 years. Woo! Yeah. Now, that being said, they are going to have to build around her. But congratulations right now.
You can do it. Y'all can still make the playoffs. You're fighting tooth and nail. Phoenix clearly isn't trying. Y'all can get it. Do you think Vanessa Nygaard will be here next year?
Speak up.
Do you think Vanessa will be there next year in Phoenix?
I do not.
And your second rookie is...
My second rookie is Shakira Austin. The second pick.
Shakira Austin is averaging 21.5 minutes a game, 8.7 points. She is averaging 6.3 rebounds, 0.9 assists, and 0.8 blocks, and 0.8 steals. Well done.
Very well done for a rookie
Starting
campaign. Come
for
on.
a playoff team.
Making an impact on a playoff team.
Big impact.
Come on now.
I had Shakira Austin as well.
Great.
She's just looked really good on that team. And, I'm still going to be asking for y'all to call more fouls. She's getting just beat up down there. My third selection, I hate that she's been injured a little bit, but Nalissa Smith, she obviously, again, undeniable. I think she just impacts the game. She has been, her and Kelsey Mitchell have been the go-to force for that Indiana Fever. That is one. But I think she is just developed. You can see that her game is pro ready. Was pro ready. Stayed pro ready. She hooped. She's top 10 in rebounds in the whole league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that stat.
That was my third selection as well. So I'm going to move on to my fourth selection, Queen Egbo.
Absolutely, Queen Egbo.
Yes.
On the rookie list, Henny. Yeah, Queen Egbo has made some flashy plays this year. Her blocking was really great. She's been really good rebounding. Again, injuries. I hate that she's kind of had some injuries, but she's averaged 7.4 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks. Do your thing, Queen.
Nice. Shall I play back?
From the beginning, where I said, I don't even know how she got selected. How'd she
I
make
think
a roster?
It's one of my favorite. That pick was a no. She has really, really had a great rookie campaign. Very entertaining. I feel bad that she's on this team. She has clearly performed well in spite of that. I need them to figure it out or get her on a team that is going to do well because she's talented.
Absolutely. I think I just had not seen a lot of growth and development from her at Baylor. So I'm going to blame Kim Mulkey for that one. Kim, the lot of things you've done wrong lately, in fact. But I just hadn't seen a lot of growth in her game. I definitely didn't see a shot developing. But what I like about watching her play this year is I feel like Coach Quinn said this to us one time, is rebounding is something you have to desire. It sometimes doesn't just fall into your hand. And you watch Queen play and you're like, she is going to get that ball. No one's stopping her from getting that block, getting the rebound. She has a really high motor. That translated incredibly. I'm happy to eat my words. Queen, you made the team, baby. My last selection is definitely Rebecca Gardner for the Sky. I think she's one of those older rookies that have been talked about this year. But she's made a big impact, much like we're talking about some of these other players. She has kind of her imprints over a lot of the game, a lot of aspects. She is a very transitional player. I feel like she can play the 3, sometimes guard the 4, because she's pretty long and she's really quick. But her offense came along as the year went. Her defense has been stellar from the jump.
Great selection. Not going to complain about that. A 5th pick for myself. Emily Inkslayer.
4.7 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 1.1 block, and 0.8 steals. A little bit of everything.
Yes, a little bit of everything. I have very much appreciated her. She has been on my roster for fantasy the entire time, except for this last week. We had to make some decisions, okay? But she's been tearing it up. I believe she was on my my fashion team as well.
I think so too. Very popular in this house. Well, since we're talking about the rookies, who's your rookie of the year?
Ryan Howard. Okay. Come on now.
Is it? It's really not that close. I mean, it's not that other players had bad years, but it's just kind of like this is
exceptional. Exceptional.
Do you think that the year that Candace won the MVP and Rookie of the Year, that every other girls that was in Candace's rookie class was just like, why did she have to go off like this? Give us a shot.
Oh man, I bet they were just like, well then, she is that bitch. Like, and I think that's how they're kind of feeling about her. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ryan Howard on a lot of people's all WNBA teams.
And maybe she will be if you stay tuned. I would be a little bitter if I was a rookie and I was like, Ryan, you're not supposed to come in and have it this easy, sweetie. We're not in college anymore. This is the pro. It's supposed to be harder.
Make it look slightly difficult, please.
Please. Let's start with our second team defensive. These were hard.
These were.
This feels subjective.
Very.
And I'm going to say that because the stats I used were defensive rating, steals, and blocks. Those are 3 factors, right? And not all of my players that are on these lists are even going to rank the top 10, top 15 of those categories. But I just try to factor in, okay, where do they fall on kind of all 3 of those, and how much defensive, how much does their team call on them to be that defensive stopper?
Gotcha. I also consider rebounding a very important thing for defensive play. Like, I think of somebody getting rebounds as a defensive-minded player. So that is a stat that I checked to see where how many rebounds were they getting. That's really
good. I like that. Damn. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna start because I think it's very questionable, and you're gonna be like, "Why did you put her on here?" It's Candace Parker.
On defensive.
Okay.
I'm not mad about that. Candace Parker deserves everything always.
Okay, I had trouble putting her in other spots, and I was like, she should be on a list. I felt that way in my heart. She had 8.6 rebounds and 1 block per game. And me valuing rebounds as a defensive skill, she's on my list for all defensive second team.
Could you read let's just do our whole
good.
team at a time. Let's hear your whole second team.
Candace Parker, Natasha Cloud, Big Sil, Spooky G, and JJ.
Shut up. That's literally almost exactly my team.
Is it really?
Yeah, I have Spooky G. I love that. I have Big Mama Sil, Spooky G, Natasha Cloud, Brianna Turner, and Jonquel Jones on my second team. I put Brianna Turner in there over, who did you just say? Candace Parker.
Did you have her on you have her on a different team?
I do.
Okay.
You know, disrespecting Candace in this house. It won't make sense, but I do have her on a team. On my team.
Nice. Okay.
There's not an award for it, but I just picked her.
It's like she needs to be on a list. There we go.
Yeah, I'm going to justify this by saying, I don't think any of these players need honestly justifying. Gabby Williams is a defensive stopper. She can guard a lot of players. Sylvia Fowles, period. Natasha Cloud, that team has
told us that she was
that she's a shooter, so she's actually on my shooter team. Great defensive guard.
Thoughts about JJ? Did she slip? Neither one of us have her on her first team. Last year she was
first team defensive.
Yes. She is the reigning MVP. Are we being disrespectful or did she slip?
Was she last year's MVP?
Uh-huh.
Last year, man, I keep forgetting.
It's throwing me off a lot as well, but yes. I think the bubble happened last year, but we had that conversation where we found out it didn't.
Yeah, I would say the Jonquel Jones case, not necessarily slip. They feel like a team that works so well together that it's hard to distinguish one person that exceeds those expectations, or maybe it's just even how Kurt Miller's kind of been playing, because they have such big lineups. They can bring Brianna Jones, who we're going to be talking about probably at some point in these awards, off the bench, who is incredible. And then they've got JJ, you've got Alyssa Thomas, who a lot of people are throwing in defensive categories. So I don't necessarily think it's like a regression for her as much as just everyone else also played well. The team functioned. So she did what she needed to do on her team. They're third place. If she maybe went and did what she did last year, maybe that's taken away from somebody. Maybe it's taken away from the team. I'm shooting here.
She has lower production because she's more of a team player this year.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. Good spin. Okay, let's head on to all defensive first team. You go first.
Asia Wilson.
Check.
Brianna Stewart.
Check.
Alyssa Thomas.
Check.
Brittany Sykes.
Check.
Ariel Atkins.
No.
You're fake.
I have Brianna Turner there.
Oh, well, I love that
Yeah.
we both had Brianna Turner. Brianna Turner, congratulations. And you didn't have Ariel Atkins on a team. She was on a defensive team last year. What do you have to say?
I don't have her. That's what I have to say. No one's shocked that you have Ariel Atkins. And she is, deserving. I just had 5 spots, and I felt like Brianna Turner also deserved to be on this list.
She does. That makes a lot of sense. I really like that we did this separately, and we've had very similar
results there.
It's almost like we watched the WNBA this season. Now I feel like most people probably will have some form of that, but great teams. Great teams. Is this going to lead you to tell us who your defensive player of the year is now in the whole league?
Okay. I am selecting Brianna Stewart as my defensive player of the year. Could you please read off her stats?
21.9 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1.7 steals, and 1 block. At one point, she was leading the league in steals, but I believe Brittany Sykes is ahead of her now.
She has her hand in all facets of the game. I think she makes a very strong case for MVP. She's an incredible person. I love her. She's one of my favorite players. I think she is defensive player of the year.
I love that. I'm going to say Asia Wilson here.
Cut the cameras.
You're right. When I think of all that they have to do on their teams in each specific role, I think that Stewie has a little bit more help defensively. Truly, I think Gabby Williams is an elite defender. And this isn't take away from Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, but I don't think they're known as those defensive girls. And I feel as though Asia terrifies people coming into the paint. She's leading the league in blocks. She's highly effective on defense. I feel like she's good at shutting down your best player, while also this isn't factored in to the defensive player of the year award. But I'm always amazed at what she's able to do all on defense while still carrying her offensive load. Same with Stewie. That's why this is really hard for me. But I went with Asia on this one.
Great selection. It's wrong, but great selection.
WNBA second team. Oh, these were... I had a tough time making the teams. My WNBA second team, I have Sabrina Ionescu, Arike Ogumbawale, Nneka Ogwumike, Jackie Young, and Jonquel Jones.
Great selections. And I'm realizing I just snubbed Jackie Young.
Entirely?
Entirely.
Jackie.
When you said it, I was like, yep.
It's not too late.
She should be on my list. Well, let's see. Maybe I put somebody on here who's like, not playing anymore. Well, when you look at I was looking, defensively at the stats, and I think, I don't know what I clicked on, but third on that list was Liz Cambage.
And I saw which side you're talking about.
Yeah. I was like, man, wow.
Not there.
Not there. Okay, so my second team, all WNBA. Brianna Jones, Jonquel Jones, Arike Ngumbuale, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and Kelsey Mitchell.
I wanted you to go with all Joneses for the second
Right,
team.
when it keeps going. Kelsey's the one that I have. I had her like originally in the spreadsheet here. I had her as an honorable mention, and then I was like, no, like she is hooping and has been hooping all season. Sorry.
Except the last 2 fucking weeks, Kelsey.
And carrying that team
to 5
wins. She's still producing pretty well. And so that's why I put her on the list.
I'm not arguing with that, but that was my reason for not
to
having
5
her.
wins.
Yeah, I was just like...
Carried Indiana Fever to 5 whole wins.
Carried, dragged them, walked with them, limped, rode a scooter. I don't know about carried. Willingly sat with them. Sometimes it feels. Arike was the one I think on this list for me that I was like, Her points, you would look at being up there, but when you compare her efficiency, her shooting percentages with some of these other players, it's marketably lower. And then a couple of these players I even considered moving up to the first team. You know what? I'll do my first team.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you who I left off.
Okay.
First team, all WNBA. Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Kelsey Plum. Crazy the Aces have 2, but that's incredible. Skylar Diggins-Smith, Candace Parker.
Great selection.
However,
you want to hear mine?
I would love
Stewie, KP, Asia, NECA, and Sabrina. I
forget that.
Okay. I was struggling with Sabrina. I didn't want to put her on the list. But then I'm looking at I did not. I was like, no. But then I kept looking at the numbers and I was like, no, she is.
No. Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I don't think I'm endeared to her. Like, I don't think I personally like her yet. I don't know why that is. I love her game.
I know why it is, because I feel the same way. I watch her and I'm like, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
But then I look at the stats and I'm like, no, you mean no one's ever done what she did this season? Like, I think it was something along the lines of no player has ever had, I'm going to throw an arbitrary number out there, 250 rebounds, 250 assists, and 250 points in the season. It's what she's been doing in college. So undeniably, I'm on the same. That was I had to talk myself into putting her on my list. That's interesting. On this topic, who from the Sky do you have on your first or second teams?
Nobody.
So this is a really fascinating thing to me, is the Sky, like we were talking about with some players like Jonquel Jones, maybe some of the defensive stats being pulled from Connecticut. The Sky you look at and you're like, well, they're the number 1 team. They kind of have been all year. They're clearly the best. Who's the best player?
Yeah.
Who's the best player? It's like they're just so well-rounded. That's why I put Candace on here, because I was like, someone has to get something from this team. I like her numbers in a lot of, she has numbers across the board. But Vandersloot obviously is an all-WNBA caliber. She has been all WNBA before as a point guard. Emma Meesman is incredible. That was just really interesting to me, that I think I did mine first as well, and I was like, I don't have a single Chicago Sky player and they're the number 1 team. Make this make sense.
I'm a big fan of Emma Meesman, fantasy. As I was looking at the numbers, I saw her name, but it was just a little bit lower than the other players. Yeah,
she should probably rest tonight.
Don't rest.
Please.
I mean, before we get to MVP, we can go to where I do have a Sky player. 6th Woman of the Year, Azurá Stevens.
No way.
Yes, I
Oh my
did.
gosh, I love that. Azurá, congratulations, babes. What'd she do?
So this is going to be one where I want her to be on this list. And no. For me, I think she leads the second unit. She is a huge part of Chicago's success. They are the number 1 seed. She has a lot to do with that.
She is such a great 6th player. She has been averaging 10.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 0.8 assists, 1.2 block per game, and she's getting just under 22 minutes a game.
Efficiency.
I went with Brianna Jones in this selection.
Come on, TV guide.
Because it seems like the award should just be named after her. She's been averaging 13.7 points, and she's on my fantasy roster. 5 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 1.2 steals, and 0.4 blocks. She is definitely... I think they want to start her, but I think that they wanted her to win this award the entire year. And I'm not even kidding. She's been an all-star. She was an all-star this year, wasn't she? She's undeniably one of the stronger, better down low posts in the game. And I think that they are like, we're just going to keep bringing you off the bench so you can get this award.
I do not think that's why they
Kurt Miller, call us and let us know.
Oh my God.
How about your most improved player? Because there's been a lot of talk lately I've seen on the webs about how to quantify this award. Do you look at most improved as someone... I've been seeing a lot of people say that most improved should be someone that had a similar role, but they improved drastically versus someone that got like 10 minutes last year and 30 now. Of course, your numbers are going to jump. How do you look at this award?
Well, as the president of the Ezzy Stan Club, I am required to give her an award. And so this is the award that she gets. So last season she had 6.6 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 0.9 blocks, 0.8 assists, and 0.6 steals. And everything improved. This year, 10 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, 1.8 blocks, 1.4 assists, and 0.9 steals.
Her points went up 4 and her rebounds went up how many?
Nearly 2, yeah.
That's impressive, yeah. And her numbers were even better than that before Tina getting here. Yes. She was getting a lot more playing time.
Her stifled growth.
I definitely think she would have, but that does fall into the category of she's getting a lot different role. Her role was entirely different. It's now more what it was, but great point. Even more proving your point. She has the same role now that she had most of last year, and she's improved it 4 points, 2 rebounds. Ezzy, congratulations.
How are you dealing with most improved player? How do you look at it?
I think, how are you improving your efficiency? How are you improving the way you do your job while kind of having a similar role? Mm-hmm. Did I improve? But that can be a lot of things. Some of that, when people have been saying, well, if the player gets a lot more minutes, why are y'all mad at them for improving in the offseason? Coach is just playing them more now. I'm supposed to get, I don't know, if you improve that drastically and you're getting more minutes and you're getting more opportunity, I don't see why we wouldn't reward you. I've just seen people be like, XYZ plays double the minutes, so of course their numbers are going to improve. I'm not going to say it. And I'm just like, well, they worked in the off season. Can't you let them? I don't know. Anywho, I went with Jackie Young here, and it's for the efficiency. It's for that her role didn't necessarily change. Her coach did, and her coach, she vibes a lot better. So Bill Lambier was not letting Jackie come down and shoot that thing. Jackie Young shot 25% from 3 last year. 25. She made 1 in 4. This year she's making 44% of her threes. That is a 20% increase in a shot. One shot, one skill.
One skill. What about those other skills?
It's incredible. She went up 4 points. She's averaging 16.2 points per game. That's a great average. Yeah. She went up like 0.2 rebounds. She went up 0.7 assists. She went up in steals. She was making 0.2 3-pointers a game last season. 0.2
3-pointers?
3-pointers made per game.
Oh, I know that.
This year she's making 1.5. And again, 1.5 shooting, 44%. So I think that I've just seen a lot of growth in her game. It feels like in the off season, her shot looks more comfortable, and I don't know whether to attribute that. Obviously not all to Becky. Jackie got in the gym and worked out, but I think that she really vibes with Becky's system a lot better than Bill Lambiers, and I went with Jackie for most improved.
I love that you have Jackie getting 2 awards and none for me. Love that for us.
Well,
the level of disrespect that I have.
I want to spread the love. I'm like, I already have Asia at defensive. Do I need to put her on first team? It's like, yeah, they deserve that.
Yes,
I want to spread. I'm like, Jackie, most improved, should take her off the second team, but I'm like, this player earned it.
Yeah. Shall we move on to Coach of the Year?
Yeah, because I'm really curious. I feel like I'm going with someone that is different. Hit us with it.
My Coach of the Year is someone who has been under a lot of scrutiny, who has had a lot of difficult tea in the locker room. That's right. Vanessa Nygaard.
I can't.
Is my Coach of the Year.
I'm sorry, Clown of the Year?
Especially if they make the playoffs. Like, come on. To be able to pull this clusterfuck together and still get to the playoffs. Like, I want them to make it so bad because just it's like the band of misfits, and like we still made it, and DT comes back and they make a little push. Like, yeah, it's Vanessa Nygaard for me.
I love that argument. She has been unfairly given a really difficult hand this year.
Oh my
Her
God,
attitude,
it's impossible.
I was just watching some clips this morning of a press conference with her, and she was like, you know, I'm a person that we're going to come out and every game we're going to try to win this, and that's the girls that are on the floor are the girls that are on the floor, and I can only deal with what's in the locker room, and I'm showing up here today to try to be a better coach and to make my players better. I was like, you're saying all the right things.
You will not be working in the WNBA next year, but you are saying the right things.
I keep being like, can she be coach of the year if her players don't even respect her?
Yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. That does not players' respect does not factor in.
I feel like it totally does.
How do you quantify that?
You are like the guide of a team. It's in your hands, and the team just totally. And again, like so many things were out of her control with BG,
Yes.
Tina, whatever. But the Diana Taurasi, Skylar Diggins thing happened game 3. This clown thing happened before the All-Star break. I feel like she lost this team's either trust or their ability to buy into what she's doing really early. And I think she is still doing the best with what she has. I don't think she'll be there next year.
I completely agree.
And I think she has pieced it together really well. But I do think there needs to be something said of like the culture she created or the atmosphere she built wasn't no one buying that pitch.
Ugh, I understand that. I just think she was dealt a really, really impossible situation, and I'm rooting for her. I mean, I think I would be the only vote for Vanessa Nygaard, just so we're clear. But I'm not even joking. This isn't a throwaway. Like, that is how I feel. Like, it is such a shitty situation that she's in, and I really hope that she is able to lead them to the playoffs in spite of everything.
Look, I think you need to put this on Twitter, and I think you need to start. I'm not kidding. I think this is sort of a cool idea and get a crowd behind you. And that'd be a great way to see what the fans actually think, because I feel like the fans hate her too. I do. I really like this idea. I'm like, she has had such a terrible, unfair year for her first year in the coach. You would have thought that Phoenix was going to be in the finals before the season started. Now, mama, they lucky to make the playoffs. And that's it. I love this. I love this.
And who do you have?
The number one team in the league, James Wade.
Did you really?
I really do. Look, but they also do this award for executive of the year, and he is an executive. So this is where I had a little bit of a hiccup with that, because it's hard for me to divorce what he did as an executive versus what he did as a coach, because they were, I quantified it like this. Last year, they were 800 coming into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They were a team that I don't want to say floundered, but they just couldn't figure it out. Then they went on to win the championship. Mm-hmm. So we started this year knowing, obviously, this team has the potential. Mm-hmm. They've won all season. He made some really great pieces in the offseason. I just keep thinking it's an easy selection because they won the championship, but they've totally changed how they approach the regular season. I think they are a deep roster. I like how he integrates everybody. And yeah, I think if you take a pretty similar team that was 500 last year, obviously win the championship gave them some confidence, but they've been pretty much in the lead the entire season with the same team that was 500 last year. I like James Wade. Tanisha Wright was my other go here from Atlanta, because I don't think anyone saw Atlanta getting to the playoffs, but I leaned James Wade.
You're picking the guy who won last year. Good job for taking the championship team and keeping them on top.
I don't know. And I'm not going to factor last year in. This is this year's award show.
This is this year. We haven't had that many interactions with other coaches. I think, let's say, Coach Quinn, James Wade,
Cheryl Reeves,
Becky, and
Coach T.
I really like James Wade. Like, we had a good interaction. Not just like he and I personally, but like he was pleasant to be around. So, all right. Our final award, MVP.
You know where she at. You know where she be.
I
go with Stewie.
I go with Asia.
I knew it. And we switched it for the defensive.
Basically.
Why did you go with Asia for MVP?
because I like her. Yes, a lot of her numbers, as I was looking at it, are defensive numbers, but she is still carrying a lot of the offensive load for them and contributing to them offensively. She's just a really well-rounded player, and that's why I chose her as the MVP, because she's doing a lot on defense, but she's doing a lot on offense.
She really is. She's doing a lot. When I looked at this award, how I distinguish it, because it's clearly those two, I just think that Stewie has way less help overall. But A'ja Wilson currently is the second leading scorer on her team by like a fraction. So that argument doesn't hold a ton of water. But where it does hold water to me is, but let's say Asia's 19.2, Kelsey's 19.9, and then Jackie's 16. I think Stewie's at like 21, and then it's like 15, 16 for the next player. It's drastically different. I think the load that she carries is really important. And Stewie.
She does. I would also say that Asia's contributions have gotten them to the second seed, and they've been there the majority of the time, if not first. So I think that team has performed better than Stewie's team.
Well, that team has 2 players that'll be first team all WNBA and 1 player that'll be WNBA second team. And then Stewie herself is doing everything.
She has on our list 1 other player. Gabby was the only. And I said Ezzy as well. But yeah, so I can understand that. It's a great argument. It's a great argument. So obviously we made the decision of who we think. Who do you think they're going to pick?
I really hope that if they vote for one of Stewie or A'ja,
they do what we did.
Yeah, and I think they will. I think that Stewie and A'ja are going to get either MVP or defensive.
If A'ja does not get MVP, there's no way she can't get Defensive Player of the Year.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Okay.
And I like that. Would you be mad if obviously you won MVP?
Sure.
But neither one of them have won defensive MVPs either. Both of them have won one MVP, and neither of them won a defensive. So I like that there's so much on the line this year. MVP or defensive MVP.
Well, this was really fun. I'm glad we did this.
And those are our awards. Wait till next week when the real Balords come out.
Be sure to leave in the comments who you think should win these awards. I'm Jewelz with Balance Sports.
I'm Hunter.